What's up, folks? Ben Barrows, also known as Random Crown here, back for part 5 of the $4 Bounty Builder Hand History Review. If you guys haven't seen any of the previous parts, please go back and watch them so you can be all properly caught up. Queen 5. We decide to open under the gun. And this is a very non-standard play because Queen 5 off plays pretty poorly post-flop, especially when you raise from early position. You're still going to have a lot of players left to act, and it's very likely someone could show up with something to play back at you with. But when you have the chip lead at the table, it makes it a lot easier to open way looser holdings, especially when there's short stacks with bounties like the button here. They've only got like 5 blinds, so they're going to be shipping it in on the lighter side, and they probably had a decent bounty, so we're just opening really wide, hoping that we get all in against them and can just shippity dip that booty money. So we do so, and then we just shippity dip the bleezies instead. Just do a bit of folding. Oh, looks like we played this Queen 10. Folds to us. We open under the gun +2. Yeah, I mean, if we're opening Queen 5 off under the gun, we're certainly opening Queen 10 under the gun +2. We get a call and then a shippity dipper, so it's an easy fold. 10-9 off now. Under the gun +1. Yeah, pretty easy open. Again, for the same reasons. We have a big stack, and the cutoff here has hardly any chips, so just trying to put the pressure on the other players and go for those booties. But we end up getting into an interesting spot here. We open. Oh, I remember this. Oh yeah, not only does the cutoff have hardly any chips, so does the small blind. So yeah, it's just a great spot to raise with like nearly any two. So we open, and the hijack 3-bets us. And I remember this hand because it was unique because the big blind is sitting out, so it creates for an even better steal opportunity. And any thinking player is going to be aware of that, so it'll widen the hijack's 3-betting range because it's just such a good spot. Someone's opening when the BB sitting out, like they're going to be light, so it's just, smart to 3-bet them light because, they'll probably fold a lot. Plus, they could get it in with some of the short stacks and, shippity dip the booties as well. So they 3-bet us to a fairly large size, which made me more suspicious that they were on the light side as well. Yeah, it was well over 3x, like closing in on 4x. So because of that, it looks like they want us to fold, so we read that as a sign of weakness, which is why we go ahead and 4-bet. Make it a bit over 2x their raise. We figure, if they just have, complete air here, something like, like Jack 8 or Queen 9, just like Ace 5, just something just airball-y, they just can't call our 4-bet, it'll look pretty strong. So we just go ahead and pull the trigger, and they just 5-bet shippy dip it in, so obviously they had it, and we just let it go. Pocket 3s on the button. Or as my friend really liked, as I say, he said he prefers I call the button the bootin. So, pocket 3s on the bootin, Nathaniel. And now we have an under the gun +2 limper, cutoff over limps, and we double over limp, which is a great spot for small pair. You want to see a flop with a lot of players and keep it cheap, so you can hopefully flop a set, but if not, like at least you didn't invest that much. Small blind calls, and BB chickity checks. We missed the flop, so we just easily fold to this overbet chip. Ace 3 suited. Easy open. Yeah, we're opening any suited ace from any position. And the cutoff calls, as does the SB. BB comes along as well. We flop top pair. It's Ace King 5 2 hearts board. Cutoff bets a little less than half pot. We called our top pair. We decided to check call rather than c bet to pot control. We don't want to like bet and bloat the pot when they have a better ace. This way we keep in, you know, flush draws and you know, other air, maybe like 10 jack, 10 queen, and lose less when they have a bigger ace. And thankfully they had just about the same kicker as us, so we just chop it up. Now we have pot fours under the gun +1. We open for basically all the same reasons as before. We have a bigger stack and just, you know, trying to raise and put the pressure on some of the other guys. But honestly, I think it's probably better for us to just fold in this particular situation because our stack isn't as juicy as it used to be, and we have a couple guys that cover us behind. This guy has over 1 million chips, and this guy has a decent amount on the button as well. Plus, the cutoff, small blind, and BB all have great stacks to ship it in, and I guess under the gun +2 has, you know, an okay all-in stack as well, because, you know, they obviously go with it. So I think it's probably better to just muck it. Yeah, I mean, 4's early position's not that great of a hand to raise with. I think, yeah, the minimum pair to be raising with here is definitely 7s. Yeah, I mean, I think 6s is a fine fold as well. So yeah, I'll probably just go with 7s plus here. But, you know, can't play every hand perfectly. Ace 10 suited in the BB. Under the gun limps. Cutoff calls. Small blind completes. And we just riggedy raise it up a decent amount since we figured to have the best hand here often. So we make it like 4.5x. I think we could actually make it a lot bigger. But, I mean, I think it's reasonable. I mean, yeah, I think we could maybe make it like around like 100k. So like what, like 4 blinds is about 72k. So 5 blinds would be 90k. So 6 would be 108k. So yeah, I would say between, yeah, 90 and 108. So I think 100k sounds like a pretty reasonable size to make it. And just like really price out under the gun from peeling. But I think our size actually accomplishes the same thing. Like, honestly, that was my thought process in the moment. You know, try and make it like the smallest possible size that's still big enough to where they won't be inclined to call us too lightly. So I think this size pretty much accomplishes that. And, you know, we're happy to get it in against the cutoff. Like, it's doubtful they ever really go with it because they're overlimping, you know, on this, what, like 11 BB stack. They probably don't have anything strong. They probably have like 10 jack suited or like ace like 5 suited, you know, like 7-8 suited, you know, something they just, you know, want to see a flop with, you know, something with okay equity, some decent post flop playability, but like not a really good value hand. So we expect to get this through a lot after under the gun fold. But cutoff surprises us and does indeed go all in, and we happily call. And we are up against King Jack. So yeah, I mean, they just had, yeah, worse hand, just king high, but, you know, figured it was good enough to go with against our range. And yeah, I mean, it was about right. I mean, like, they're in okay shape. You know, got decent equity. I mean, it's not a good play for them to overlimp and then just shove over a BB ISO. Our range is going to be on the stronger side for sure. But, you know, I mean, that's why you raise there, to hopefully get people to make those kind of mistakes. But, you know, can't hold every time. But still definitely the right play. Now we have king, queen off in the small blind. Interesting. Under the gun opens. Button calls. And we decide to flat. I think it's probably better to ship here in general. Like, if this is like a normal tournament, like with no bounty factor, and we think under the gun and the button are light enough, jamming is by far the best play. There's plenty in the middle for us to pick up, Yeah, 120k to add to our 311 stack. That's huge. If we can just ship it in and just pick up what's in the middle, just not have them call. We don't have to go all in. Like, yeah, we'll pick up like a third of our stack. Yeah, it's a significant increase. But because of the bounty factor, we expect them to call us lighter, so it makes it less appealing to go in with something like king queen off. So that's why we decided to just call. Yeah, it's pretty unconventional, but yeah, we decided to just do so and just try and flop, top pair, and maybe like a straight draw, and then we can just get it in. Yeah, especially if we think that they have worse queens and kings in their range, which they very likely will. King jack, queen jack, king 10, queen 10, king 9 suited, things like that. So yeah, I think that's fine to just call here and then to try and just get in against a worse king or queen if we make top pair. So that's what we were going for. But yeah, with the stack size, shipping obviously is totally fine as well. BB just leads, under the gun raises, and we easily fold after we just completely missed the flop. 6-10 suited here. Looks like we just muck it. Jack king off on the hijack. We just shippy dip it in. Yeah, I've got less than 20 BB. And yeah, cover one of these stacks. Yeah, I mean, just with our stack size, and there's only 4 players left to act, something as strong as king jack just plays best as an all-in. Thankfully we just shippy dip the bleezies. We have 6-5 in the BBZ. Under the gun plus Wheezy. Riggedy raises, under the gun plus deuce calls. Get a 9-9 tray, 2 spade board. Get a c-bet, and we just easily fold after we completely whiff. Kings. Got the Cowboys, everybody. Giddy up. Under the gun plus deuce. We are facing a under the gun plus 1 open, and with 13 blinds, our hand just plays best as a shippity dip, and awesomely the cutoff calls behind, and we higgity hold against the Ochos, the Snowmen, and are up to a nice stickety stack again. Got a 600k. 10k, 20k, so it's about 30 BBs. Got the 5-7 off in the big bleezy. And easily fold after you get a raise and a shippity dip. King 7 small blind. Looks like rip 2 raises, easy fold. 6 is on the cutoff. Under the gun opens, and we get a flat from middle position. What? This is unconventional. Wow. Yeah, I was playing pretty loose this tournament, guys. Like, honestly, I wasn't taking this as seriously as my usual tournaments. I was just trying to have fun with it, and I was trying to win though. For my girlfriend, Stan Bariqua, she plays this tournament a lot, and had recently Final 2 tabled it and Final 3 tabled it and just made a lot of other deep runs. So I kind of wanted to just like win it so I could, have a hand history for her to go through so she could get kind of an idea of, some of the plays you could be making, in order to shippy dip it. But yeah, I think this is a tad too loose, to be quite frank. Under the gun, yeah, opens, and they are going to be stronger, get a flatter. And, I mean, I guess the only reason we call this because someone flatted, but if they didn't flat and we're just facing the under the gun open, yeah, I mean, this is a clear fold. Because we're just not getting nearly enough odds to set mine. Yeah, I mean, stacks are too shallow for it. But I guess since we're in position and we feel like we have a post-flop edge, we don't mind just seeing a flop, and hoping to, just flop a set sometimes and get paid when we do, and even when we miss, we can still take it down, or get value on some boards as well. But yeah, I think this is too loose for sure. But yeah, let's see what happens. Got a jack 8-5, 2 spade board. easy fold to the bet. Now we got the deuces, no possession. We got fold, ace 5, fold, 6, the BB. Facing a raise from the gun +2, small blind calls, so we easily call, getting pretty good odds. Get 7-5, 3-2 diamond board. So we have an inside straight draw and backdoor flush draw plus the over. But it just checks around, we easily fold to the turn bet. Queen at 10 off. Under the gun. Decide to open. Wow, again. Oh, okay. Usually this is a fold since we have less than 20 BB, but it's clear why we raised because the small blind has like no chips. And somehow they fold to our raise, even though they have less than a small blind left now. It makes no sense. But yeah, I mean, they had some sort of bounty, you know, it doesn't even matter how much it was. Even if it was like the minimum, it's probably worth trying to go for the steal there. But, I mean, maybe not the minimum, but yeah, like at this stage of the tournament, yeah, you've already got like, you know, a decent bounty anyway. So yeah, that's definitely the reason why you raise, but surprisingly they fold. Yeah, we expect them to go all in like every single time, but hey, it's fine. We'll take some free chips. Suited. Ace 5 off. Just figure fold for a bit. Ace 4 suited now. Interesting. I think this is close. I think this is probably a Nash shove. Like, it's fine for us to go all in here. Yeah, I mean it's just profitable. What is this, like 14 BB on the hijack, suited ace? Yeah, suited wheel ace. I think it'd be fine to go all in here. But I think the reason why we folded is because it's a bounty tournament and they're going to call us a bit lighter, and we just were trying to avoid, I guess, the higher variance spots. We're just like, you know, yeah, just trying to just not take any routes of variance. But at the same time, like, if they're calling us lighter, that's a good thing. Like, they call us king queen, they call us like jack 10, you know, whatever. Like, we want that because we have an ace. So yeah, I think this is a good spot to go all in, honestly. I think it's close, but yeah, especially since we have everyone has us covered, so that's what kind of weighted it towards a fold. I mean, you know, for my decision making process, if we had like, you know, anyone covered, I think it's much clearer all in. Suited. Ace deuce suited now in the BB. Facing a limp from under the gun. Under the gun +1 comes along as well. Button raises a little more than 3x. We could call, but I think it looks kind of strong when they do that, especially into 2 players. So that's why we let our suited ace go. It was tough, but I think they're just going to have a pretty good hand there, so it's fine to let that equity go. 9 jack off SB. Easy fold is 3x from the button. 9-6 off the button. Ace king on the cutoff. Folds to us. Easy shippity dip. With our less than 12 line stack. Get it through. We have 10-9 suited. Under the gun. What are we? 6-handed? Yeah, I mean, if we had like a few less chips, like if we had like 300k, 330k, it's really easy all in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, our hand just plays really well against a lot of calling ranges. He's got a lot of equity. But, yeah, with about 14 blinds, especially being under the gun, even though we are 6-handed, we still have 5 players left to act. So it's just more on the marginal side, in my opinion, so that's why we just let it go. But if we were like on the cutoff, we would definitely ship it. Deuce queen suited in the BB. Facing a min raise from the gun +1. We peel, just getting decent odds with our suited queen, and then just get a check back, so we get to see a free turn, but it doesn't improve our hand. We just easily fold to the delay C bet. Now we have Queen 8 suited, and SB. Folds to us. We easily shove it in. But as you see, we didn't like actually go all in. We only raised a little more than half our stack to make it clear that we're going all in, but make it more difficult for them to actually put the rest of the chips in, like with, you know, like a more marginal value hand, like ace deuce off, or like king 8 off or something. Maybe like we could get them to fold that by raising like this rather than going all in, which makes it a lot easier for them to just call, you know, and they can put us more on air. But when we raise strong like this, they're like, oh, maybe they have like a medium ace or, you know, some kind of pair, and are just like raising huge to just like protect their hand, you know, just like announce that we have a really good hand. So maybe get them to fold some of that marginal value that's ahead of us. And we get it through. And on that note, we will conclude part 5 of the $4 Bounty Builder hand history review. Hope you guys learned a thing or two, and see you guys back for part 6.